help
grow?
revitalize it. It's the area we're focusing on is a few blocks from the current Zappos headquarters, which we took over the former city hall a couple years ago. And at the time, the surrounding area was pretty dangerous at night, and so
Bleak.
we wanted to help create a place where you had everything you needed to live, work, play within walking distance. And so on the downtown project side, we've invested in probably about 50 small businesses, so different restaurants, bars, bookstore, and it's really changed a lot over the last few years. We've been at it for a little over 3 years now.
3 years, and there's been ups and downs to the project, but some of the ups have been people have actually moved down there, and you've opened a lot of small businesses?
Yeah, so there's about 50 small businesses we've invested in, and a little over 100 different tech companies that we've invested in as well. And so that was to really help jumpstart the tech ecosystem there.
What have you learned through trying to revitalize a city? What are the big takeaways so far, 3 years in?
So I come from a tech background where you can kind of go from idea to launching something even overnight, and so stuff definitely takes a lot longer. And I think the biggest lesson for us has been really this: when you talk about a tech community, whether it's a community like this or a community around a website, there's very different, I guess, perceptions and expectations versus when you're talking about community in a neighborhood. And so when we initially started, we used the word community a lot to talk about how we really want to help build community, and what we found was that sometimes those words got misinterpreted, and people started expecting us to do certain things that maybe were expectations they had of the government, or things that the government specifically. And so we clarified that for us. We were really trying to get people from all different backgrounds, entrepreneurial types, creativity types, people from the fashion industry, tech, and small business, for example, we call them collisions, colliding in a relatively small space together. And that philosophy was driven by research that's been done on cities and innovation. So a few different things, like most innovation actually comes from something outside your industry being applied to your own. And on the city level, I think the most interesting stat is that every time the size of a city doubles, innovation or productivity per resident increases by 15%. And the opposite generally happens with companies. As they get bigger, they get more bureaucratic and so on. And a city is probably one of the best examples of self-organization at work. The mayor of a city doesn't actually tell its residents what to do or where to live, and kind of that theme of self-organization we're doing at the city level, but also now doing at the Zappos level. We happen to be using Holacracy as one of the tools, but the idea is really in terms of how to avoid the fate of most other companies as they get bigger, because we're at about 1,500, 1,600 employees now.